Hey, welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. This is one of those episodes today where I've got a guest and we're also turning on the video camera. So for the 90% of you that listen only, hey, this is one of those episodes where you can go to the show notes. There'll be a link to YouTube and you can see our guest today. It is one of our proven Amazon course students who's gone off in a really cool, unique direction, having some cool success. She's going to share her story. But before we jump into that, a couple housekeeping notes for you. If you're just listening, hey, that's cool. You can just hang out and listen and don't take any notes, because any links that we mention, as well as a link to YouTube, will be at silentgym.com. That's the only link you'll ever need if you're a fan of this podcast. Just remember, silentgym.com. Go to this episode. Any references or resources or links we talk about, we'll put it all there for you, okay? So that's the only thing you got to remember today. But I'm going to introduce our guest, who I just met. I mean, we've only talked for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and then brought her on. This is her first time on our show, and I'm super excited to introduce to you Betsy Mays. Now, on the screen, if you're watching, it says Elizabeth, but she goes by Betsy, so we're going to call her Betsy today. And like I said, she's a proven Amazon course student. She's built an incredible business. Now, she's got a husband and some kids that have grown up and moved on. Maybe we'll hear a little bit about her family as well. But she kind of does it on her own. So for those of you who are out there kind of, doing business, your family may or may not be supportive. Hers is, mine is, but this is kind of her baby. And I have that in common as well. There's couples in our community that do the business together. There's people who are married and they kind of do it on their own. And there's several single people in our community as well. So I like bringing a nice mix of backgrounds and experiences. And Betsy's one of those who's kind of built it, her family supports her. She said her husband is her shipping department.
Exactly.
We're going to hear a bit about that in a moment too. But I'm going to turn the microphone over to you, Betsy. I just want to hear your story. Fill us in. Tell us about these cool games that you've created and how they've taken off, this private label idea that you've come up with. And just share your story. Welcome to the show.
Great. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you having me here. So I'm a public school teacher. For 25 years, I've been teaching math in the middle school, and I love my job, and my passion is education and math. And making it fun is really what I'm all about. So I play a lot of games with my students and my own children. And then as my kids got older a few years ago, they said to me, hey, Mom, you should try to sell these games. These are really good. And I go, maybe I should look into that. So as I was exploring that avenue of how do you create a game, how do you have one made, how do you sell it, I ran across Amazon as a selling platform. And as I started looking into that, I of course ran across Jim Cockram's Silent Sales Machine Radio and the podcast, and I started listening. I'll be honest, PAC wasn't the first thing I thought about purchasing. I almost got bamboozled by one of those high pressure, lots of money guys. And it just didn't.
Which shall not be named, right?
No, and I don't even remember the name, right? But they get you on a phone call and they have you doing all this stuff. And it just didn't feel right. It made my stomach a little upset. And so I just told the guy, I'm going to have to think about this. And he got really upset because he was like, well, I thought you could commit today. And I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm not doing it. And then that's when I was lucky. I dodged a bullet, I think. And then I ran across your program, and it was extremely reasonably priced. And yours stays forever. So you've done all the upgrades since I purchased a few years ago, the new platform. I get all of that. That's what's so cool. So, and there's so many new modules in there I haven't even had a chance to look at. So I'm kind of looking forward to my summer and getting a chance to peek at some of that new stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, we like to keep our students cutting edge. And like you said, once you pay once, you keep getting the updates.
Exactly. So
we have
I
students,
appreciate
Betsy,
that.
who bought that course. How old is it now? 10 years plus.
Oh, wow.
And they've never paid another dime. We just keep throwing the new stuff in. So I appreciate you being a student.
Yep.
And there's some good modules in there. But I know you latched onto one particular strategy. I don't know. Do you consider it private label at this point?
I do consider it private label, and that's where you've helped, because I was learning from your group. I learned things about brand registry. So if I was a registered trademarked brand, I then could get into brand registry. I then could have my own Amazon storefront. So all those kinds of things I have accomplished, but it's been with the advice and suggestions of people in your Facebook group. So that's where I find that so valuable. And just even things like, before I started this journey, I didn't have any social media. I didn't have Facebook, I didn't have Twitter, I didn't have Instagram, and now I do, and all of it's related to my business, but learning how to manage it and things to do on it, and how to collect emails. So through your group, I just listen a lot in your group. I'll give advice or thumbs up, but I'm not always bombarding it. Anyway, I learned about like offering free to collect emails. So I created a booklet on teaching integers, which goes along with one of my games. And I offer that for free to teachers and parents. And then I collect their email when they request the book. And of course, they can opt out of anything. But that's one of the ways I've created a little bit of a following for myself.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So it sounds like you've jumped into even, have you read this is a book recommendation for you and for anyone
Okay.
else, the free marketing book by any chance?
No, I
Free
haven't. I'm
marketing. I'm
writing
going to
that
grab a
down.
copy of it. So for those of you watching on YouTube, very unprofessional of me, I'm going to go away for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. That wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't.
This is the book. If you're watching on YouTube, this is
Oh,
the
okay.
book that I've never made a dime on it because all the proceeds have gone to support a ministry in Detroit. Good buddy of mine. That story's told at the beginning of the book, but it's got a bunch of free marketing ideas, including a lot of, email marketing strategies and that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing that go beyond what's in the Silent Sales Machine, which is the book you've got displayed nicely over your shoulder.
It's
I
awesome. Thank
appreciate
you.
that. That's
You-
really cool. But yeah, this book, for all the Dave Ramsey fans, it's actually the one that Dave Ramsey
right.
endorsed. And it's just got some really good ideas, but I do dive deep on now, even though it's a 2011 book, the reviews we're getting even recently have been just glowing on that type of, getting in front of your key audience, providing maximum value to them. Email marketing is not dead. It's still extremely
Right.
powerful. Although we've gotten really excited lately about Facebook Messenger strategies lately. Chat bots. If you haven't heard of those, don't be intimidated.
I've heard, but I haven't
Everybody
tried.
uses
So.
email.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing about that is the delivery and open rates are phenomenal. You've got to really earn the right, but something else for you to investigate. But kudos to you for jumping into email marketing and giving away
Right.
free content. It's a great way to
Right.
grow an audience. And then following up with folks. I mean, that's how this community's been built.
Right.
Without email marketing, none of the books, courses, or any of the success that we've had to any degree would
Right.
even exist. So great job, Betsy, on that.
And one of the things I wanted to share with your group too, while I was learning this process, I was hearing about, I didn't know how Amazon worked. So in order to figure that out, I did about 6 months of retail arbitrage. So Q4 of 2017, I did $10,000 in the month of December of just
Nice.
retail arbitrage. So it's not something I've chose to continue to do, but I sure had fun for those several months that I was into that. And that was all through the support of your group. Anytime I had a question on how to print a label or what to do, or if you're restricted on certain items and how to get unblocked and all that, the Facebook group was so supportive.
It's
so that was really fun.
Introduction into what's possible on Amazon.
Right.
Get your feet wet. That's where we start our students out, right there.
Right.
If it's only for a couple months,
right,
a little money in the bank, proved yourself at work, see how
exactly
it can be, get over those few speed bumps, right? So yeah, good for you. That's cool. You jumped into the retail arbitrage, which is just simply a matter of 90% of our audience probably knows what this is, but just in case, retail arbitrage is just buying something off a store shelf for $5 or $10, selling it online for 40 or 50.
Right.
Someone who's so excited that it's so readily available and they don't have to go to the store or look everywhere to find it. You've provided a valuable service, made a decent profit. That's how Amazon makes their money. It's a great model. And that's the basic model that we use for most newbies. So that's kind of how you got your feet wet, huh? But it sounds like you transitioned over to your own products pretty quickly.
I did. So I've have 3 games right now on Amazon, and that's my primary selling platform. I do attend like math workshops, or I'm going to there's a homeschool convention here in Phoenix, Arizona that I'm attending in July. It'll be my 2nd year going to the homeschool convention, and that's another place where I find a lot of success with my games.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So what percentage, if you know, is because you said you're a public school teacher, but you're playing in that homeschool arena. I totally love that. That's great.
Right.
That's kind of, it sounds to me like you've got your foot in 2 ponds,
Well, we do what's best for kids, right? So there are some people, and I know you homeschool, and a lot of this group does, that you have the time and the resources to do that, and that's fabulous. But unfortunately, a lot of families don't, and that's what's great about our country, right? We offer free public school to kids. So I think, as long as families and people have that choice, they're both good choices.
Yeah, we've never been like anti-public school, but we could homeschool. So we did. We was like, we have a chance to. Why wouldn't we? That's kind of our position. And there's some great public schools out there. But I love it. Yeah, you're doing what's best for kids, and you're having success. Do you have a good feel for your core audience? Is it 50-50, or is it predominantly homeschool buyers of your games?
Actually, it's probably, I would That's a good question. I haven't really thought of it. I would say we're 50-50. A
Hmm.
lot of times school teachers like to buy class sets of my games for the classroom, or school teachers seem to like educational games a lot for their own families, and that's who I sell to. But then I've had a couple influencers that I've worked with over the past year, and they've been more focusing on the homeschool market. So
Gotcha.
that's been where I found a lot of success as well.
Well, this is an opportunity for you too. Like, tell us what the name of the game is. With,
Oh,
like you
okay.
said, there's a lot of homeschool families. Some
Right.
families, they make their kids listen to this show as part of the homeschool, which my wife doesn't even do that to our kids. But I've
Okay.
heard from families that just love it. My kids hear from me enough. Like they don't really fight less.
So
But
right now I have
there's homeschool families listening. We'd love to hear how can people find this? What do they look for?
well, I think they can find them on Amazon. The first game, my signature game, is called Absolute Zero. It's a card game, and the gist of it is that you combine positive and negative numbers to make a value of zero.
I
That's
love
it.
it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's really simple, but there's a lot to it. Kids like it, adults like it, families like it. It's really and how I came about this, I was playing in the classroom card games, and I used a regular deck of cards, and I was a middle school teacher, so red was negative, black was positive. And the kids had to remember that, and they had to remember like that jokers were 11. So I was looking for cards that had positive and negative numbers on them, and there weren't any. So I created them.
No way.
Yeah, so I created them. They just look like this, positive and negative numbers on cards.
Yeah, Betsy's holding them up. This is another good reason to watch on YouTube, guys. If you're
Yeah.
listener only, hey, check it
So,
out. That is such a cool but simple concept. Have you
right.
trademarked it? Have you gone ahead and put some
Yes.
legal protection
Yes.
behind it?
Yep. It's a registered trademark now.
That's
So,
awesome. So
and it,
red cards and black cards with numbers, positive and
right.
negative, is now a
Mhm.
trademark
Right.
concept owned
Yep.
by
Yep.
Betsy Mate.
Exactly.
Love
And I
that.
also received a Parents' Choice Foundation award recently for this game. Yeah.
Congratulations. Wow, that's
So,
awesome. Is that through Parent Magazine or who
no,
awards that?
it's Parents' Choice Foundation. It's a foundation
Okay.
that does that. So you have to pay and apply with your pay for an application, and then they award different levels of games. So mine
So
is
that
a
was some pretty good exposure for you, huh?
yes, it is because they promote the things that they're. Plus, it's nice to say on Amazon, I can say I'm a Parents' Choice Foundation award winner, so that kind of helps too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
and then
beautiful.
when I would go to conferences with this game, teach people would be like, "Hey, Betsy, we'd like something for smaller kids." So then I created 10 Fish. It's a spin of Go Fish, but instead of just looking for cards that match, like do you have a 2 or do you have a red, you have to um, compose 10. So you have to have cards that equal 10. So
Okay.
maybe like a 2 and an 8 equals 10, so then you can lay it down. It's helping kids. Base 10 is our number system, obviously, and being able to make 10 is a very important elementary skill. So knowing
Absolutely.
that 3 and 7 is 10, 2 and 8 is 10.
Yeah.
And that's not something that comes easily to everybody. So this game helps reinforce that. And I also put something called 10 frames on there, which is a visual aid for helping kids see 10. So this is a new game, and it's been extremely well received and popular. So both my games last week had the Amazon Choice banner at the same time. I was
Dude,
elated, over the moon.
that is
Yeah,
phenomenal. Wow. So take me through just from the numbers, if you will,
right, right,
of, what did this look like? How much did you have to put into this up front?
right.
At what point were you scared like we all are that what have I
Oh,
done?
yeah. No,
Like take us through that journey a little bit. And this has been what, like a 2-year journey, it
yeah,
sounds
2 years about, just a little short, I think. Yeah, the first, so the more I order my cards from, actually I got a company in China that prints them for me, and you have to order in a certain amount to get a decent price, right? So the first shipment I only got 100 just to see how. Well, first I ordered 10 and I didn't like the design, so then I redesigned them. And my daughter was my graphic designer for my first deck. So my goddaughter was my graphic designer. My son helped me with the rules, and then like you had already mentioned, my husband is sort of my prep center. He does the packing and shipping for me, so it is a bit of a family adventure.
I love it.
Um, but yeah, so ordered the first 10 decks just to see what it looked like. I didn't like the case. I didn't like the design. We tweaked stuff. And then I went ahead and ordered 100, started selling those. I was just getting into social media then. So I was just kind of getting friends and family to start buying them just to get some sales going. But it's really hard, I noticed too, to get those organic sales and to get the reviews. And I know I was through your group and listening to all the cautionary tales, I knew to do it the right way. Um,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it was just slow. It was just slow going. I attended a couple of conferences. So paying money for a booth at a math conference or at the homeschool convention is a way to get some exposure, because people would see it there and maybe they'd buy it there, but maybe they would just take the card or the pencil I was giving away and go home and purchase them from Amazon. So that was my first year, just kind of getting the word out there as much as I could. But then it kind of spread. It was kind of funny. One of my teachers came to me and said, Betsy, I was at the park playing, and this one lady sat down next to me and said she ran across this great game, and it was Absolute Zero. And they didn't know each other. So it was just kind of neat to hear that people were talking about my game outside of, my four walls.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great experience to start seeing your stuff
right.
around.
So with
Yeah,
10 fish, I did something a little different though. It was painfully slow getting going with 10 fish. People that saw it and played it loved it, but just to get sales on Amazon. So I hired an influencer. She has a website and does podcasts and gives away free content. And I paid her to review and promote my cards with her group, and I gave her a coupon code for Amazon to share with her group. And that was huge because it was a boost in sales. And then an unintended consequence that I didn't think about, a lot of those people left reviews. So
ah,
I got a bunch of sales and a bunch of reviews, and I a little better than broke even on the deal. So
right. But the momentum, I
the
imagine, kind of
momentum,
keeps you. Yeah,
exactly. So you kind of got to think, you got to sometimes spend a little money to make money.
right.
And that's hard when you're just getting started and you don't have a lot. But it's, in this case, because I knew it was a good product, I felt it was worth it, and it did pay off. So that was really exciting.
Have you, and maybe this, I'm going to slip a little bit into coach slash interviewer here for a
Hmm.
second. Just ask you, have you played around with filming students playing your game and turning that into a Facebook ad?
I have not. I hired a photographer that did some life shots for me. So she's got kids, just still shots of them playing the game.
Sure.
Um, and that's been helpful in advertising. So I've done stuff like used Canva with these, made my own ads and then put them on Facebook, put them on Instagram and Twitter. And that helps a little, but I like your idea, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the premise behind the Proven Audience Formula. That's a
Hmm.
book on Amazon, Proven Audience Formula, but it talks about how we've sent we've had videos take off and get tens of millions of views, and we'll give them a little bit of a boost with some cash. But
Hmm.
especially if it's kids, if you can
Right.
get some kids kind of giggling, interacting with your product in some way, having fun, and it can be user submitted content as well, which is something I'd encourage you to do. And this
Okay.
hopefully is helpful for many of the listeners as well. But just encourage the users of your product to turn on their cell phone video camera. It doesn't have to be professional at all. Actually, that helps you dramatically. If it's not professional, it's far more likely to go viral. Have them hold their camera up and down, not sideways, so it looks like you're a pro, just up and down, because
Hmm.
people associate that with amateur video. And just show them playing your game, having a good time, learning. And if there's any way for you to communicate with your student base, it sounds like you've captured some emails of your students and
Right.
users. If you were to send out a blast and say, hey guys, we're having a contest, make the
Oh, that's a
prizes
great
ever.
idea.
User submitted content, either images, which are awesome,
Mhm.
or ideally video of you guys using and playing with the game. And then just spend a few dollars, $5 here, $10 there, and you can figure out very quickly if you've got a winner. That might be a great way to promote your product. That's a lot of the marketing strategies we've used around here to do some truly
Can I
good
ask a
work.
question then? What
Absolutely.
you just said. So here was what I'm envisioning. You said run a contest with people that I already have a relationship with about creating a video of your kids playing 10 fish or absolute zero.
Yep.
Then would you have them post that on Facebook? Do you have them email it to you? You know what I'm saying?
Whatever's convenient for them.
Okay.
Tell them you want to make it as easy as possible, and then
Right.
say, you can upload the file to Google Drive and share the
Hmm.
link with me. You can put it on YouTube. You could upload it to Facebook and tag me, whatever's convenient and easy for you. So because some people are going to be comfortable with one thing over the other. And then before you use it, obviously you'd want to get their permission, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
need to have
definitely.
them sign an 8-page legal document. I mean, you'll see ESPN and CBS and Fox News going on Instagram and someone has a cool picture that they want to use, and they'll say, hey, this is Joe from ESPN. That's a great photograph you just took. Can we use it on our website? And the person who took the photo will go, sure, that's kind of cool. Done. That's all anybody needs.
Yep.
And now they've given you permission to use it, and you can reward them with their prize, and you can use it. And if it really takes off and does well for you, you can always reward them even more and say, hey, you got some cute kids. Let's do some more video of those guys. They're having a blast. Their laugh is infectious, whatever. And you can maybe even involve them in your marketing efforts in some way. But just kids organically interacting with the product can be some pretty powerful marketing, because what ends up happening is people tag people.
Right.
And that's what you'll learn in the proven audience formula strategies. There's actually a real inexpensive book, and if that resonates, I'll hook you up with the course, Betsy, no cost. So
okay, great. Thank you.
And I think you might get pretty excited about how simple this stuff is. And
okay.
Your product is a really nice fit. I mean, we've seen it work for all kinds of products, but a product that a kid can interact with and have a little fun with, and very organically, candidly laugh and goof around with a little bit, man, those are ideal for this strategy. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes. And hopefully some listeners are picking up some ideas as we go here too, that, it doesn't have to be complex. Video strategies with Facebook just don't have to be complex. And you can set your daily limit of ad spend at $5. Let's just test and see what happens. We've had videos go viral. You throw a few dollars at them, and they just kind of take off organically on their own. People tagging and sharing and that sort of thing.
Right. Good. Thank you. I'll try that.
Yeah. Excited to hear how it goes.
I'll let you know.
so keep the story going. And I wouldn't mind hearing a few numbers too. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all business owners here.
Right.
Like, what did you have to cost, as much as you're comfortable, what did you have to spend? When did it start to pay off? What was the process of getting it created? And, what's it like to contact a manufacturer in China to get a product made? Do I need a PhD in international trade?
No, I actually just Googled it. I Googled how to make playing cards, and you know what I came up with? MakePlayingCards.com. Believe it or not. That's the website. And they're in China, but they're fast, they're convenient. They ship directly to wherever I need them to, and take care of the customs and the importing of that stuff. So that's why I went that route. And it's just, it was a little scary, like I've had customs when I had this last shipment come in, because it was a little bigger. I had customs call me and need, a tax ID number from me to let it come into the country, but I haven't had any problems. But it was a little scary. I have an interesting way of how I found my graphic designer. So my daughter designed the first Dick. She was my absolute zero graphic designer. She had some training in high school, and so she used that to do this for me. And then when I was getting ready to do 10 Fish, she had started teaching. My daughter is now a teacher herself. She goes, Mom, I just don't have the time or really the skills to do what you want. So I've heard, about Fiverr and some of these other places where you can get graphic designers, and I started looking, and actually I'd done that route to get a graphic designer for my logo, and so I knew the process. But I also know that when you go through those sites, you're limited in the contact with the person, right? There's somebody in between you, and
right.
and I was and that isn't the best. So I got on Fiverr and I found some, and who I liked their designs, and then I Googled them. So I found my girl Holly through Fiverr, but then I found her outside of Fiverr and contacted her that way. And now we have this relationship. She's designed the cards for me, but now we have a merch account together, and together we are doing t-shirts, just, and splitting the profits on that. So it's been really fun to meet people and build. That was thinking creatively and outside the box, right? I knew I wanted this person, but I found them a different way. So that was kind of interesting.
I love it. Yeah, and it really does come down to relationships too.
Right.
You start establishing relationships, and other creative ideas pop up. And little successes turn into multiple successes.
Right.
Such a great story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead. I'm sorry. Going. Well, so even like Instagram, I was thinking about that. I knew that Instagram was a way that especially younger people communicate and do things. My son is always on Instagram, not my thing. So I created an account. I did a couple posts. I had like 10 followers. So a friend of a friend's son kind of thing. He has a company that promotes Instagram accounts. So I paid him $100. And for a month, he did some things, I don't know what. And now I have like 2,000 followers on Instagram. So sometimes you just have to let people know what you're doing, when you're at the coffee shop or at work or at the grocery store, and just tell people what you do. And they'll go, hey, I know someone that does this and they can help you do that. So it's really been kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a multi-pronged journey for sure. It's like there's so many great ideas that you could pursue in any given day.
Right.
I think sometimes people get the perception that being in this position must feel like juggling, 1,000 different balls in the air at the same time, spinning all these plates. What does your day-to-day reality look like running your business now? And give us maybe your daily routine. I'm always curious to see,
Well, you know what? I work full-time still for the school district. So I get up at about 4:45 every morning and exercise with my husband. Then I go off to work and do my day job, come home, and in the evening is when I do my work. So a lot of times I'll be sitting on the couch and my husband will be watching the news and I have my laptop in my lap and I'm, responding to Facebook posts and I'm looking at Instagram and I'm researching whatever it is that I want to do. And then I usually set aside a couple hours on Sunday afternoon before our family dinner to do my finances. So every Sunday I balance my books and I have a spreadsheet that I created to keep track of my business finances. That's just what I like to do. And so every Sunday is my time to sit down and do that.
Beautiful.
So that's kind of what I do. Yep.
So here's another question, breaking down your business a little bit. I think it might serve people well. It sounds to me like you're moving some product off of Amazon as well as on Amazon.
Correct. Mostly Amazon, but a little bit off, right?
Okay. The product that you're selling off Amazon, how is that set up? Is it a Shopify site?
You know what? I don't have any other online site. It's through conferences and word of mouth. So like if I'm at a workshop or a conference, sometimes school districts will contact me to purchase through me, not Amazon. I looked into the Shopify site, and it just seems like more than I could do right now.
Yeah,
so
it might be a good next step for you, because the beauty of that model is you truly own the customer.
Right. Right.
And if you were to put some on-box marketing of some kind, a website or such at some point, next big run you make.
Right. Yeah, I've bought several domain names with my game in it to have them sitting there for that step. I just haven't been able to
when
make
you
it
get
yet.
to it. Yeah, that'll be a great next step. Your profit margins go up, and obviously, you're not exposed as easily to the, hundreds of millions of Amazon shoppers.
Exactly.
But you own the customers that you do get that way. So yeah, that'd be a great next step for you. Well, what would you say to, I've met so many entrepreneurs, they have a dream in their heart, they even have a product idea, and I know it's not an easy road.
Right.
But what might you say to encourage? You approached us, if I remember correctly, and was it a post on Facebook? I can't remember.
Yeah, a Facebook post. I was just sharing the good news about having my 2 Amazon Choice Awards running simultaneously on both my games.
That's right. That's right. And thank you for having the bravery to step up and tell your story, and you're leading and speaking and teaching and getting in front of people, that propels your business forward. And
it does.
So this is a 3-way win. The audience is winning, getting inspired, you're getting some exposure for your product and stepping into more of a leadership role. And I'm providing great content to my audience.
You are.
So this is a good mix here. But, take us through, tell a little bit more, like, what would you say to these people who are maybe further behind you, a little behind you in this journey? Because you're only a couple years in.
Yeah. One thing is to be patient, and just some beats none, right? Doing something every day beats doing nothing every day. So I have trouble sometimes. I don't want to say talking to people. I'm a teacher, obviously I can talk well, but like contacting somebody for a sales or a business opportunity or reaching out, that's a bit challenging for me. So I just make myself do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? They can say no, right?
Do it scared, right? Do it scared.
Exactly. And I've just really wanted to see this come to fruition and see how far it could go. And I was lucky that I have a supportive family, and my husband supports me 100%. And, we decided how much we could invest in this opportunity. And I said, okay, I'm just going to do all I can with what I've got. And it is a slow process. So you can't expect overnight success. You can't, I'm selling about, do you want me to say how many? I'm about,
Oh, that's
yeah,
up to you. If you're willing to
yeah,
share, we'll
right,
take
right
any
now,
numbers
but
you're willing to
yeah,
give.
right now between the 3 games that I have, about averaging 250 decks a month on Amazon. Um, and so that's making a little bit of a profit, but everything, I haven't taken any money out of my business yet, right? I created a separate checking account. My husband and I decided how much we'd put into that account to start the business, seed money, and I've just been letting it, I just keep turning it over and buying more product or buying more training or buying, whatever I feel I need at the time to grow my business. And luckily, I don't have to look at that yet as paying myself. I'm hoping to. My husband
Right.
retired this last year, and I'm hoping to in the next year or two retire myself, and then this will be what I do full time.
Well, you know what book really inspired us, and you sound like a miniature version of the Nike story. And let's all hope
Okay.
that you're as big as Nike someday, right? That would be
That would be
awesome.
great.
But their
Yep.
story was very, very similar in the beginning of, how they just. I think if you have you read the book Shoe Dog by any chance?
I have not.
You'd enjoy it, and the listeners too. If you're trying to build a brand, I know it's one of my partner Brett's favorite books. He
Hmm.
said, Jim, you got to read this, and I read it. And when I finished, I'm like, man, that was good. He's like, yeah, I've read it like 10 times. It's a great story in all the ways they messed up. But the thing they had was persistence.
Right.
They
Right.
they had persistence. They stuck with it, and they were pouring all the money back into the business. And things got pretty tight a few times, but they truly built something
Yep.
special.
And
But,
and then for
I do want to mention this before we jump too far past that point,
right.
because we live in a different area. The Shoe Dog story, kind of, it's a 60s and 70s story. And in the 80s, they take off. 90s, they're, billion-dollar
Mhm.
company. And we all know Nike today. But we live in a different era where you can take these risks now, and it's just the risk is so much smaller and the upside is so much bigger. You
Right.
don't have to go all in and boom or bust type process where, man, this is either going to end us or it's going to be huge. You can do these small tests.
Right.
I mean, you were able to order. This wouldn't have been possible 30 years ago for you
No.
to find a factory in China. It's like, yeah, hey, we'll make you 100 decks of a card. Sure.
Right.
It might take off, might be something. They lost money on that, probably, or
Hmm.
broke even at best. But you tested an idea,
Right.
took off, and now you're selling 250 a month, and pretty
Right.
soon it's going to be 2,500 a month, and pretty soon
I
it's going
hope
to be
so.
25,000 a month, right?
Yep.
As the momentum
Yep.
takes off, and some of these marketing strategies and connections and relationships, maybe someone's even listening to this podcast and they have connections for an education show or something, and they're going to get you connected. That's how
That'd be
these
awesome.
things work.
Hmm.
And the beauty and the simplicity of your product is, I don't want to leave that understated as well. It's a gorgeous concept, because your elevator pitch, and maybe I'm gonna challenge. I'm gonna put you on the
Hmm.
spot here, and just
Okay.
like, we're on the elevator, and I am the director of 100,000 homeschoolers, and we
Okay.
come up with content ideas for our magazine, and we send out a monthly magazine, and we put the best of the best ideas. And you come up to me, and I know you've got a game for
Right.
homeschool. Like, what would you say? Pitch it to me real quick.
Thanks, Jim, for putting me on the spot.
15 seconds. The
Okay.
elevator's
I,
going down.
my goal is to make math fun. So I've created games to make math family fun so that we can all learn our basic skills. So that's,
Beautiful.
it's, yeah.
That's amazing. And here,
And,
can I give
you
you a
know,
couple examples, because I carry them everywhere I go.
right. And Jim, what I also see as a public educator, that so many times people don't pursue their dreams because math gets in the way, right? You can't take the college classes you wanted because you had to take
Mm.
algebra in high school or college, and I see math becoming a roadblock or a hurdle for a lot of people as they get older, and I don't want that to happen. So I really believe that everybody can do math and understand it if they're given the right opportunities. And so that's kind of been my mission, is to make math fun. I do a lot of teacher training in my position with the school district. So I'm trying to give the teachers the self-confidence they need to be good math instructors, and also and this is the other thing, I cannot tell you, I've had 25 years of teaching. I have about 200 kids a year, so you can do the math of how many parent-teacher conferences I've had over the years. And I can't tell you how many times parents have said to me, I don't know how to help my kid with math. I just don't know what to do. So I'm trying to give people fun ways to help their kids with math at home.
That's beautiful. And for, math is a big deal to me, because, we've done a couple episodes. It's been mentioned a few times on this podcast. We're coming up on episode 200. Maybe we've already had episode 200 by the time this one airs. And I would say in at least 3, if not 5 or more episodes, I've mentioned the 3 foundational of this is what I believe every student needs to become a successful adult. And it's based on timeless, thousands of years old Hebrew principles. There's only 3 things a kid needs to be equipped with, and you've educated them successfully. Now, not everyone's going to agree with this, but everyone includes math on the list, because that list is spiritually grounded, relationally grounded, good relationships with their fellow man, they good relationships at home, family, friendships, that kind of thing. If you can, and that requires education. Those things don't just happen.
Right.
And the third one is math, numbers, enough to where you can be effective in business. You could make
Right.
change at a cash register if you had to. That kind of, I can think about numbers. I can analyze a situation and apply numbers to that situation.
Right. Just a number sense,
Those
right?
are vital life skills. And we've drifted away from it a bit as a culture. So I see you kind of on the front line. I consider what we do around here, we're kind of cultural warriors. We're trying to say, hey, business is virtuous. It's valuable. Entrepreneurs are very special people in our country and in our culture. They're needed. And you got to have some basic math skills.
Right.
So, I see us as almost fellow warriors on the same battlefield from that regard, because, if your cards were teaching, let's say, color theory or something,
Right.
history, and those are all great things, but math, vital, foundational from my vantage point. So this really resonates with me.
Good. Thank you.
Extremely valuable.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah. You're obviously passionate about it. And that's
I am.
Places, and when investors look at projects like this, I'm learning they don't dive deep into the product as much as they dive deep into the person. Are they passionate about it?
Right. Can I mention one more thing? I'm sorry to interrupt. But when you said investors, so I did, when I was getting my game off the ground, Kickstarter. I didn't even know what Kickstarter was. It was my 20-year-old children. They're, Mom, you got to do Kickstarter. I'm like, what is Kickstarter? Anyway, it was
Kickstarter campaign.
I had a successful Kickstarter campaign. Yes, I did.
Numbers.
You know what? I believe, it's so horrible. I can't even remember right now.
Round it off.
I'm saying I did a low number because I didn't necessarily. I needed help, but I didn't have to have the money to make this go, but it was more for the average. So I made it a low, I want to say $2,000. And the people could choose to, if they contribute, I think it was like for a $15 donation, you'd get a deck of cards when they were made, or you could just give me, some money because you liked it and wanted to help. But then the other thing I did that was pretty cool, and people did take advantage of it. If you like this idea, but you don't need the cards, you can give me the $15 and I will donate a deck of cards to a Title I school, which is a school with a low income. And so a lot of people took me up on that opportunity. And then what was fun was I had the kids and the teacher at the school that I donated the cards to write thank you notes to the people that funded that.
Oh, so, what a great idea.
Yeah. So that was really fun. I almost forgot about that.
And it was bringing it up. Yeah,
it was a business experience too, right? And it was advertising.
Beautiful story. What a beautiful age we live in too, where you can take an idea and kind of crowdsource the funding initial concept. And I'm not a Kickstarter expert. I've never actually used it myself, but thanks for throwing it out there. Just another funding option.
Exactly.
To launch a concept. Why not give it a try?
Right. Well, funding and advertising. I mean, my daughter buys a lot of games that she just sees on Kickstarter. My daughter, who's in her 20s, she goes on Kickstarter regularly to see what's the newest, latest, greatest game out there. So.
Yeah, sure. You can get great private label ideas even if you're ideas that way, right?
Yep, you can.
Yeah. You can. Or, one thing that someone in our community was doing, it's been a while since I contacted, they were going to successful Kickstart campaign owners.
Okay.
They've got their funding, they've got their product, it's being worked on, being developed. And they're saying, hey, when you're ready, I can be your Amazon guy. Because I know Amazon, and you may not know it, but I know it. And for a percentage of sales, I'll get you ramped up there.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Because if it's social media latched on, that's what a successful Kickstart campaign is. It's a successful social media campaign. If it worked there, odds are it'll work on Amazon, and people will be looking for it there eventually. So why not partner up early on and help them set up their own account? That's the proven product partnering strategy we talk about sometimes around here, which I'm making myself a note. So any links we mentioned, silentgym.com, you can go there. But proven product partnering is one of the modules inside the course that you have, the proven Amazon course. That's one way to educate yourself on how to do those kind of partnerships. But what else would you say? We were in the process of sharing some inspiration, some encouragement, some reality of what it feels like to launch your own brand. Any other thoughts come to mind, or any other encouragement you have, or how else do you want to kind of land this plane and Take your
Right.
time.
I guess, it's just be patient, be diligent. And I kind of like the philosophy you've always shared, Jim, is, do it with integrity, right? If you approach everything with honesty and integrity, you're not trying to take the shortcut, you're not trying to find the easy way to do anything. That's what's going to be sustainable, right? So instead of, doing anything that might be considered a little shady, just do it with integrity, and you'll be rewarded in the end. It might take a little longer, but it'll be well worth it.
Yeah, the greatest asset you have is your reputation.
Right.
Biblically, that's worth more than silver and gold. Any amount you want to give me, a good reputation is worth more than that. So yeah, protect it by doing the
Right.
right thing, acting with integrity, and treating everybody as if they're family. Just like
Exactly.
how would you treat your family if they were coming to you and asking for this thing that your customer's asking for? If you can provide that level of service, yeah, you'll become an unstoppable force. So if you're a stock, Betsy, I'm buying.
Yes. Thank
As I
you.
have
Thank
become
you.
fond of saying on the show, that is a beautiful business model.
Thank you.
And
I've got a
I,
few more
I
games in the works, so I'll let you know when they come out.
beautiful. Can't wait. Now you mentioned 2 games, and you said you have 3. Is there a third one in the
Well,
mix?
there's Absolute Zero Junior, so it's a simplified version of my original game, Absolute Zero.
Okay,
Um,
so
so
we got
it's out there as well. Yeah, there's Absolute
10
Zero
fish.
Junior, and 10 Fish.
10 fish, TEN fish,
Right,
which is it's
exactly.
brilliant. And for those of you who didn't see it on YouTube, you need to jump over on Amazon and check these out because they're really nice looking. And what's your retail pricing on these?
Um, Absolute Zero is $15.95, and 10 Fish, I believe, is $13.95. So,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah.
when
So
people
what
comment
in
about
what
them the
age
most,
range? Give me the age ranges on
okay.
these. Some people are listening
Oh,
going, yeah, I think I might grab
yeah.
this for my grandkids.
Um, yeah, Absolute Zero was originally designed for middle school, so like 12 to 14-year-olds, but I've had third graders playing it because the idea is just opposites cancel each other out. So if you know that the same number of black and red give you 0, it's an easy concept. Up through high school and adults, I've had adults buy it and like playing, and there's different variations. I give like
Okay.
5 or 6 different games you can play with the deck.
So you can
Um,
do like a speed game too, or even an
Oh,
adult
definitely.
challenged by it.
Yeah, or multiplication war, addition war with integers. And then 10 Fish is designed for younger children, kindergarten, first grade, so they can play 10 Fish. But once again, it's fun for the whole family.
Man, that's awesome. Great job. I'm super
Thank you.
excited to see where this
Thank
goes.
you.
Will
I
you
am
come back
too.
once you're rich and famous and on, on Oprah and all that, and you can come back and visit
Is
with
Oprah
y'all?
still around? I would love to, Jim. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Awesome.
all that you give us in the free content.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Just
you, Betsy.
seriously, the stuff I've learned from your Facebook group and the Proven Amazon course, and then the other webinars that you host, it's a wealth of information. Sometimes I feel like I have that shiny object syndrome. I hear something that you talk about, I'm like, oh, wholesale, I want to go try that. Oh, private label, I want to go try that. I just have to stay focused with what's working for me right now.
Yeah, there's just so much opportunity, isn't there?
There is.
And I feel like I could launch into my good ideas versus right ideas speech right now, but I won't do that.
Okay.
But I'll sum it up with, you got to learn to recognize the difference between a good idea and a right idea. And the shortest explanation between the differences, does this feel like this is what I've been waiting on all along? It's the obvious next step. My life has prepared me for this moment. It was almost a divine appointment that God set up. Those are the right ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Good ideas, man, there's thousands of them. You hang out in our community, you're going to get thrown. There's
Exactly.
and any one of which could put an extra 500 or $1,000 a week in the bank for you. But that may not be the right idea for where you're at right now. But that's the short version of a much longer. I've probably done a podcast episode on that at some point, I think early on. But man, it was great hanging out with you today, Betsy. You were an awesome guest. You've got a great product. And thank you for doing what you do. I think it's
Thank
going to
you,
have
Jim.
a big impact on a lot of lives. And for
I
those
hope so.
who are a little curious, hey, jump on Amazon, leave Betsy a great review, pick up a few of these, give them away Christmas presents. If you've got kids or grandkids, hook them up. This is a great gift. Get those kids off screens. This is
Exactly.
even
Unplug and play. That's what my shirt
but
says.
this is one of those products that Brett and I get super excited about because one of our core missions right now is, bring families together, get kids
Right.
off screens,
Mm-hmm.
right? Get parents interacting with kids. Man, this sure fits the bill. So I want to be talking a little bit more with you about these kind of things in the future.
Great. Thank you,
All right.
Jim.
Well, let's wrap this one up. Listeners, hey, thanks for hanging out with Betsy and I a little bit today. We love hearing your feedback. So if you're watching on YouTube, hey, leave us a comment or a review. Let us know if you picked up a pack of Betsy's cards, one of the games off Amazon. And like I said, leave her a review if you do. And we love hearing your feedback too. So leave a review on iTunes or whatever your podcast listening platform is. That really encourages us around here as we continue cranking out this great free content. And one last reminder before the big announcer comes in and probably says the same thing, I think, but silentgym.com is the only website you need if you want to get any of the links we talked about today. I'll link to Betsy's games, even make it nice and easy for
Great,
you there
thank
too.
you.
So folks can go and grab those if you'd like. Order more than one. Why not? Grab a bunch of them. All right. All right, Betsy, thank you. Everyone
Thank you.
Today, thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll do this again real soon. God bless you, business building warriors. Talk to you soon. Hey, this is Jim. Before we end this episode, I wanted to spend just a couple minutes giving you a great tip on how to get paid every single day instead of every 2 weeks on Amazon. I'm going to bring a guest on just in a moment. Her name is Vicky. She's with Payability, and they offer a service to Amazon sellers. Even if you're only selling a couple $1,000s of product a month, you can get paid every single day instead of waiting every 2 weeks. So she's going to jump on the show, share with us a strategy for doing just that. That's actually the service that they offer, as well as a couple other things. And yes, they are an awesome sponsor of this show and of our event, theprovenconference.com event. They're going to be there. So come and meet Vicky. But before you meet her at our live event in September, here's a chance to meet her on screen right now. Hey, welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. This is your host, Jim. We've got a guest today, and that means if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see our guest. And if you're listening, hey, that's cool. That's about 90% of our audience. They just listen to the podcast on their favorite listening app. That's awesome. But if you want to come check us out, see us interacting today, hey, jump over to YouTube. There's a link in the show notes. And of course, the only link you ever need when you listen to Silent Sales Machine Radio is silentgym.com. It's the only link you need. So any links we talk about today, any resources we talk about today, you'll see it all right there. My guest today is Vicky Sullivan. She's with Payability, and they've become a very valued, trusted partner of ours. They've actually sponsored some of our events. Our live event coming up in September 2019. If you don't have your tickets yet, be there. Come meet Vicky, see the Payability team. They're going to be there with us. And I'm excited today to spend a few minutes sharing with you guys one of our close partners. Now, keep in mind, when we talk about partners and sponsors on this show, we don't just go out and say, hey, anybody willing to write a check, we're going to get you in here. These are services that are used by our team, used by our community. They've established trust in the marketplace. They know their stuff. We turn away as many sponsors. Actually, we turn away far more sponsors than we accept, because if we don't know them, like them, trust them, haven't used them, we simply don't bring them to this audience. So this isn't just a sponsor spot that's been paid for. We invited our sponsors into this show so they can share some time with us, teaching us what it is that they do. Payability, if you're not familiar, now I'm going to do my best to kind of sum it up, and then Vicky, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of fill in the gaps, okay? But what you guys do is you allow daily payments. That's a big part of what you do anyway. So if you're used to getting that check every 2 weeks, hey, you could be getting daily payments instead. And it's not just Amazon, as I just learned. It's if you sell on Walmart, Newegg, Jet, a handful of other platforms, you can get daily payments instead of waiting for that check. That's the service that you guys provide. But let's dive in. You got some stories for us today, Vicky, some users and why someone might want to consider using your services. And last thing before I turn it over, there's a special link to get you $250 credit with Payability if you sign up with us. And I'll go and give it to them once now, Vicky, and then we can talk about it at the end of the show as well. That's go.payability.com/Jim. Payability.com/Jim. That's me. Vicky, welcome to the show. Sorry for the long introduction. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Jim. And that was a great introduction. We're looking forward to being at your event again this year.
Awesome. Theprovenconference.com. I forgot to mention it. But go ahead, tell us about Payability. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do for sellers and your story, and take it away.
Sure. So Payability, we're the leading financing platform for Amazon and e-commerce sellers. We provide financing solutions designed exclusively for these types of marketplace businesses. Our first product, as you mentioned, is Instant Access, which is our daily payments product. So instead of getting paid every 14 plus days like you would on Amazon or Walmart or Jet or Newegg, You're going to get paid every day, putting better cash flow into your business, so you can constantly keep up with that crazy demand, that never before seen demand that Amazon and a lot of these marketplaces are creating, and restock, get rid of stock outs, continue that selling momentum. And instead of focusing on how you're going to finance your business, you're going to focus on, other areas of growth and areas that are probably a lot more fun, all without getting into debt, because it's just based on the sales you've already made. You're not taking out any kind of a loan or anything.
I got you. So talk me through the process. If someone was interested and go, wow, that'd be great, daily payments. What do they do? What's the process? How complicated is it? Is there a background check, or is there a credit check, or like, how do you guys, what can someone expect?
So there are no credit checks. That's one of our biggest selling points. Approval is all based on your Amazon account health and sales performance. So we only require around 90 days of sales history. We do need to see a little bit of sales history in order to underwrite the account and evaluate and make our underwriting decisions. Then just around $2,000 a month in sales. So it's really flexible. It can be used by sellers of all sizes. And again, no credit checks, 24-hour approvals. Super simple. If you're interested in signing up, just go to go.payability.com/Jim. Since you're listening to this podcast, you'll get a $250 sign-on bonus when you sign up for our instant access product. Super simple application process. Again, no credit checks. You just go in, fill out a 10-minute application, connect your marketplaces, because again, you're going to get daily payments across multiple marketplaces, not just Amazon. And then somebody from our team will give you a call and take you through the rest of the process. We never pull your credit, ask for bank statements, tax documents, or anything like that. We're just giving you financing based on how great of a seller you are.
That's super cool. Okay, so Payability, for those of you who have never heard it before, it's spelled P-A-Y-A and then Bility, B-I-L-I-T-Y, correct? Payability.
I think so.
Yeah.
I still just spell check sometimes. Or cut and paste from the website, make sure I spelled it right.
Go.payability.com/Jim for $250 credit, and you can start getting daily payments. That's really cool. Well, tell me about, do you have some user stories? Like, what advantages are there to getting paid daily? I know you kind of hit some bullet points there, but like, give me some stories, give me some examples of someone who benefited from your services, if you've got some examples for us.
Yeah, we definitely have. We have two really great examples that I can't wait to share on the show. One is affordable allergy tests. They provide at-home allergy tests that you use with just hair, for people and pets. And they have grown a lot, and they have not taken any outside financing, no outside investors, and they've really scaled their business, and can really run their own business their way, because they don't have to worry about debt or outside investors. They're just really doing what they want to do and running their business their way. They've grown a lot, and they've introduced new products, and they actually ran into a situation where on Black Friday they had a huge sale. It's one of the few days a year, and they actually discount their tests, so they got even more sales than they ever thought they would get. And they had the inventory on hand, but they did not have any shipping materials or money in the bank for shipping. And so they were able to cash out that day, cover all of those shipping materials, fulfill all those orders, really without even thinking about, where that money is coming from. It's all just, it's all in their Payability account, cash out every day based on your past sales.
That's a great example. So yeah, on those huge spike days, you don't have to wait for your money. Amazon holds it for 2 weeks. If the timing of the spike is off, it's like, yeah, that would be great to have it today. Start filling those orders, because cash flow is everything. And 2 weeks is a big deal to a lot of sellers. 2 weeks is a very big deal. So I totally get it, capturing the vision of the value of what you guys provide. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there's a great example, because Q4 especially, or maybe a sale or a promo that you run, that's going to give you a big spike. It'd be great to get that cash faster rather than slower. And I know you guys charge, I'm assuming, an interest rate of some sort, right? That's your business model. But the benefit of getting the cash fast is the service you provide. All right. What else? What other examples you got for us?
So we have another awesome customer called Gifts Fulfilled. They do gift baskets for every occasion, from Mother's Day to college gift baskets, birthdays. And so a lot of different products go into these gift baskets. And in order to fulfill every order, you need to be in stock with all of these different products. So you're running out of a lot of different products at different times. So the 2-week payment delay really didn't work for them. So when they came across Payability, they're spending hours and hours a week just managing cash flow, just figuring out where the next, shipment was coming from. Now they spend about 2 seconds a day managing cash flow. They sign into their Payability account, and they're able to, buy whatever they need that day to fulfill all of those orders. And they actually have a really amazing business model. They hire adults, a lot of disabled adults, to put together these baskets. So they're creating a profitable business and providing jobs to people in need. So
Man, I love entrepreneurs. That's so great. It sounds like you guys have an interface where if I'm a Payability user, and I'm not actually right now, someone else on our team probably is managing this for us, but you can go in and see how much money you have available to you right now, take as much as you need, and you charge for what you need and what you use. Is that how it works, or is it a set payment every day?
Yeah, it's not exactly, it's not how it works. We charge, it's a flat fee based on your total sales.
Okay.
So, whether you take it all out, every day or wait a few days, the fee is the same.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Is this international or is this US only? I know some people are going to be thinking and asking that question.
Yeah, so we do work with sellers overseas, as long as they're selling on .com. We don't currently service .uk or .ca, but we do service sellers selling on .com.
Okay, which we have a lot of sellers around the world. And for sellers who are maybe only selling on .ca or one of the other Amazon sites, US is most of the activity. So you need to figure out a way to get there as well. We like to see people on multiple platforms, but if you're selling on the US, on Amazon.com, that's where Payability can jump in and help out, as well as, like we mentioned earlier, Walmart, Newegg, Jet, and a handful of others. You can get daily payments from them as well. Oh, that's great. Super excited that you're going to be at the conference with us. For those who missed it, let's just throw the links at everybody again real quick, Vicki. Okay, so we've got theprovenconference.com. Come meet Vicki, meet the Payability team, hundreds of listeners to this podcast. They're going to be there. I've already booked their tickets, and it's September 2019. All the details are on theprovenconference.com. And then we've got the website that you want to jot down, go.payability.com/Jim for the $250 credit. Don't forget that /Jim part for the $250 credit. Absolutely. So that they can get you signed up and get you rocking. All right. Well, anything else we're leaving out today? I think this has been really informational. Get in, get out, and educate some people and help them with their cash flow. I know we've got some serious sellers in our community, so I think some people are going to be jumping on this.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you guys at the conference. We love this community, and we really appreciate always feeling welcome in this community.
Oh, beautiful. Well, you're a valued sponsor, providing a great service with a great reputation. So keep up the good work. We love partnering with you guys. And to the listeners hanging out with us today, thanks for hanging out, for educating yourself, and for supporting our sponsors. These are the people who, this show is free. A lot of our content is free. The ticket prices for our conference are ridiculously low, especially this year. If you haven't seen the pricing, it's the lowest we've ever charged because of great sponsors like Payability. So if you have a chance to support them and benefit from their services, please do so. And God bless you, business building warriors. It's been great hanging out with you. Thanks for hanging out with Vicki and I today a little bit, learning about Payability. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.